rack that was behind it that it hit it before it actually finished to get to home position. So it stopped dead. And no matter how many times you turn it off and on, it's not going to go do anything, because as long as that's pushed.
The problem with our new ones was the other limit switch here.
On this side?
Yeah. And they just have told me before 1 hour that they click it by hand sometimes, and it was
Start
okay.
working.
This right here.
So there is another
There's
limit switch
another
on the
one,
back.
emergency.
Oh, that's, yeah, this stops the head, so yeah, I guess.
Yeah, it has. Yeah, that's limit switch. Like.
It's an emergency stop, yeah. It doesn't allow to come
To bring it back.
To bring it back.
And I think as many times as I've had this thing apart, it's probably never, pay attention to it. But yeah, so if you have to sonicate, and if these are really crappy, then you pull each wire off, and you could set this in a sonicator, or sometimes you need to sonicate it to get the salts out, but sonicate it in hot water so it helps it dissolve. And then sometimes before I plug in all these lines, while all the needles are still sitting in their thing, then I'll take that thing that I made and I'll just fill it with hot water and
And then you can test it too.
just shoot it through, each set of new needles.
No, I will not see. I will make my labels, and that's it.
And then they will send it in.
But usually if
one
you see a
stick,
bunch of salts sitting
so
around
you
here,
can put it on the,
it's not
they are
that
cutting it
these
from
are
one
leaking.
side.
Yeah, that's,
Then you would see it, it's because the needle, these holes are
Spraying
now
around,
are
yeah.
clogged up. So what's happening is it's coming up the breather hole and dripping out
yeah.
onto
There's
here.
another limit switch over here.
Then you know these needles need a good
When
bath.
it goes up and down.
Yeah. So 2 switches,
Yep.
Click.
1 and 2.
That's when it knows it's home. The one it knows when it's
Maximum.
down, well, at maximum, because when you set it, it does that for the test, so it knows it can't go any lower than that. But when you set in a method that it's tube or vial, that's making its decision of how far down it's gonna go. A vial, it knows it's gotta go all the way down, puncture through the vial, and it's gotta make sure the septum is on the other side of this breather, the sleeve. So then it could breathe as it pushes liquid. But you can't tell it you want 1 mil, well, you can't, and you're gonna put it into you have it on a vial rack, but you're telling it you're still a tube. It's gonna go down only so far and just drip out, it's 1 mil. It may just puncture the septum, but that may be as far as it'll go. So, if customers say, oh, I have samples sitting all on top of my, if you look on the tops of all the vials, all the septums, and you'll see liquid. Well, there, 2 things. In the method, did they put it to vial and not tube? And how clean are all these? So it's not coming back up the air hole and then coming out the side of the needle.
This is the rinse tank, this is the waste tank, and this is for replacement.
Yeah, now the waste tank, you have to empty, but everyone that I know, no one ever uses that. That was another feature that they put on. Now, when you first turn it on, it should empty this.
Yeah.
This tank, not the big one.
Yeah.
It should empty this. And all it does is the needles just go over and just go zzz, zzz, zzz.
Yeah. Just clean outside.
That's it.
Nothing.
And this pump works. This peristaltic pump. There is a peristaltic
middle.
pump inside in the
It's
middle.
This
right
is
in the
like
very
this one.
dead center.
Yeah, and it overflows from here, the liquid, and goes to the waste tank.
I had a case that pump constantly running, and I had to replace the cool chip to stop it running. But this one doesn't have cool chip.
No, because has the new 4.0 version.
And then I replaced the cool
technology.
chip and start
Yeah,
running.
because your cool
okay.
chip will replace this one right here. Take that one
So
out.
basically that IC taking care of that peristaltic pump.
Oh, that
too.
took it, so it stayed running.
Yeah, it was running all the time. Customer sent me the pump, and then, I asked Jose. He said, oh, never had this. And then I trace, where the wire from the pump comes and comes onto this IC. And then I replace cool chip. Cool chip comes onto that place,
So the,
Instead of that IC, cool chip comes. That was a model with a cool chip. And then I replace cool chip, and then pump stop running all the time.
because it runs about a minute or two when you first turn
And
it on.
then the
and
problem
it
why this gets, the wiring here, it was water comes into the that connector and then make shorts and then make a problem on the
Yeah, that's a lot of times what happens
Electronics.
when this overflows. Yeah, it's supposed to go down this drain, but 90% of the people have it sitting in a bottle on the bench top, going up above this level.
Yeah, it won't go and won't
Yeah, there's no motor, so it's just gonna be, like a gravity.
This one.
So, yeah, what's gonna happen is, if this thing fills up to here, your bottleneck is all the way up here, it's only gonna go that far up the line, then it starts going over, and that's when it starts shooting and killing these pinch valves back here. And I try to tell customers, cannot have it in a bottle like that. You've gotta have that tube running out and going down. And that's also telling me that if they're having that much fluid, there's gotta be a reason to.
Yeah, they never
That
empty.
means they're not having recycle turned on, which normally 90% of the companies I know all have recycle. So recycle means any of the line volumes are gonna go back into the sample. It's gonna empty all the line, it's gonna recycle everything. Why there's fluid and there's something else going on, if there is recycle is turned on in all their methods and there's something not right if there's fluid, that's gonna tell me right off the bat, hey, it's not gonna pass an OQ if I'm gonna do an OQ. Because that shouldn't be. Yeah, you occasionally may have to run an empty.
So what this recycle means, that's all of the
Line volume.
the media which is in the tubes in the lines. will go back.
Extra media was taken and gonna place back in the vessel.
So, when you hit sample, or it's ready to start a sample, it has to fill all the line first. It primes all the line right to the needle, so that, and it does it right before the sample time. And as soon as, say, that 15-minute hits, boom, it's gonna draw, say, the 5 mils. So now, all that was in the line before it, now all went to this tray back here. That's why they're all individualized. So then, it has to run even more, because now it's gotta take your sample and bring it all the way to this needle tip. Meanwhile, you've now filled the line all behind it. So then this is gonna come over to the test tube, put in that 5 mil sample that it just pulled. Okay, then it's gotta go back. Then what's still sitting in the line now, it's gonna stay there, but whatever is left in these needle lines is all gonna get put up into here, it's gonna pull it. Fill this all back to empty this out, and it's gonna push it all right back through the vessel lines that it originally pulled from. So it's gonna recycle it, putting it all back into the vessel, so the only thing missing is your 5 mil sample from that volume. And then it will go up one more time, bring in air, push that air so that the line is entirely empty, so that everything went back in the vessel, so it all gets diluted for its next, whatever that is the next pull. Yeah, yes, you're gonna have
So
small-
good practice is to empty, run empty action before any sampling, so indicate that something is here, right?
Yeah, if you have stuff left over in there, which it could be that, okay, there's a line volume that you may have be too much of a line volume. Because that's how it bases how much it's gonna put back in recycle, is what you told the line volume to be. And more than likely, you're usually light, because it winds up sucking that all up. And, you know, okay, so your recycle two is, what's that, plus or minus 1 mil, I think? Yeah, for recycle. And so you want your recycle, so you pulled your 9 mils, well, 5 and 4 are your 9, but you wanted it to recycle so that the only thing missing is your 9 mils. Usually, when you weigh it back, you got like 9.3, 9.4, 9.2. So you didn't quite get it, but you got most of it. It's giving you a mil, so that's kind of that's a lot. Now replace, you're the same way. Your replace, I think, is 1 mil too, if I'm not mistaken. So it's going to be pulling from another source to replace. Okay, we got to plug all these. Are we all?
Esto para hacer el mantenimiento hay que llevar un
Okay,
sonido para
this
limpiar
one.
las agujas.
It's the biggest one, that one.
Eso dice, puedes limpiarlos con ultrasonido
Yeah,
o una
what we need to
jeringuilla,
do
tiene un
is-
adaptador, pues, con agua caliente
So you
y
can have these,
y ambas
we
limpias.
can't have these running through
The line.
these needle lines, so we need to. And then these really have to be over this side and in this little, in this gully.
What about the same
with-
thing here?
Yep.
How come this coming like that?
Yeah, see, we need to, see, I pushed them over to get them out of the way. So all of these, yeah, so that these needles and all are all sitting on this side. All right. Goes here.
This done.
Uh,
This one comes.
Yeah, this one's gonna run over here.